Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mashiakasaurus. With me, as always on Mondays, is Meph.
Hello.
And today we are reading more of Chaos 6010 AD, a crap tabletop RPG.
But not totally crap. There's
Not
a little
totally crap. Other, I mean,
okay.
it's bad mechanics with good ideas. So it's a mixed bag.
If
We
I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go out dying.
Yep. Another of these that doesn't make any sense chapter quotes that he opens every chapter with, and they're not really that funny or clever or even interesting.
Eve Astatio. I wonder if that's somebody that's in the list, or is it just a player off of his table, or is
I'm
it
pretty
an
sure he was
NPC?
credited as a playtester. Let me check real quick.
I kind of want him to just be a character, but if he is a character, I'm changing his last name to Mustachio.
Right here. My strength is bigger than yours.
Haha!
So yeah, he is a playtester.
Cool.
Way to
Okay.
keep it objective.
So, um it tells us right here all the terms for the weapons. Uh, Here it gives you a range chart. I like that the sniper rifle, the range is yes.
It's not even yes, it's just yeah.
Yeah. Spelled wrong though. It's yeah,
So
yeah.
I guess the idea is that outside of it just being a cute little joke, you can shoot anything.
That's my guess. Is that sniper rifles can have range that can hit anything with line of sight, which is not
Broken.
entirely accurate, but accurate enough. Like the longest sniper shot with a confirmed kill is something like a mile or
I thought
over.
it was farther than that.
It might be farther than that. I might be.
Well, given the fact that a human being unaided can see like 2 or 3 miles away unaided.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's all blurry. You can't make out details, but that's apparently the distance in which a person can see unaided
yeah,
is about that long. It's and you're adding like scopes and stuff. That could probably increase range quite a bit.
yeah. So here are the weapons. We'll start with the melee weapons. They're pretty straightforward. Um, each weapon does have a weight class, by the way. It's very light, light, moderate, heavy, very heavy, extreme. Like that's how much like strength that relates to how much strength. That's the number in parentheses is how much your strength score has to be able to wield those weapons. So like the Gargonian battle axe, which does 2d20 damage, requires a 30 strength because it's very heavy.
That's solid enough.
Yeah.
I do like, however, that the axe and the combat axe are just exactly the same. One is just slightly bigger.
Yup. And they do. The combat axe does considerably more damage.
Well, I mean the Gargonian battle axe. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. The combat axe and the Gargonian battle axe are very well. No, even then it does considerably more damage.
I know it does more damage. I just meant like visually. Like
Yeah,
they're basically the exact same thing, just one is a little bigger. But
yeah,
that's fine. I just it just stood out to me. The oh my god, the Sharfine battle tooth.
yep. I like it just because it's a pole arm and pole arms are cool.
Polearms are cool, and this one does have specialized hooky bits
Yeah.
without compromising the spear point.
Yep.
So that's actually that's surprisingly solid.
And it does decent damage. 2d12 plus 1.
Well, I guess I'll be using a Sharfine Battletooth for whenever you press gang me into playing this.
The I do want to point out that the staff has a weight class of light and does 1d12 damage. The war staff is medium and does 3d6 damage, which puts it at just behind a sword in terms of damage potential. Like, that's a hell of a jump. 1d12 to 3d6.
I mean, I guess the idea is that you're going from like a really light staff to one that's significantly heavier. Uh, it's still a big jump, but it kind of makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
if you can hit somebody, you can hit somebody and knock them right out with a light stick.
You're still better off using a
But
pole arm for 4d6 damage. There's no this system does not take into account any other aspects of weapons beyond their weight and their damage. So as long as you can swing the strength to use a pole arm, that's the best melee weapon to use.
And it's immediate, so I would probably stack strength and then dual wield pole arms.
Yeah, which you actually absolutely could do. To dual wield medium weapons, you need a 20 strength, which is
It's very doable.
very doable. Yep.
But don't forget that you could always fall on your own weaponry.
Yeah, that is true.
So you might not want to go with the best thing for the likelihood of it killing you.
Yeah. There's the Shanuk Battle Flail, which does 4d6 and looks stupid as fuck, but also in a cool way.
It's a grappling hook.
What you really want, though, is right here. The Shock Fist. This is one of the best melee weapons in the game. D8 damage plus stun for D4 actions. Which means that it takes D4 actions away from the opponent.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's completely and wildly broken. It costs 20,000 credits, so you're probably not going to find one very easily, but you should make it a priority if you ever do play this and you're using melee weapons. Make it a priority to pick one up, or alternately the stun rod, which does the same thing. Just slightly more damage, and
What?
yeah.
The stun rod is better in every way.
Not exactly, because the Shock Fist does D8 damage plus your unarmed damage, so it'll probably do slightly better damage. But the cost difference is
does.
ridiculous.
Where does it say it does the plus the unarmed damage?
It's because it says plus D8. This
Oh, okay.
that
That's on
plus
top of
indicates, in addition to your melee damage, you'll notice that it only happens on weapons that are like basically gauntlets.
I guess.
Plasma Sword does 2d20 energy damage.
Hey, look, a useful whip.
A Razor Whip, 2d20 energy. And even a Bullwhip does 3d6 and entangles on a natural 15 or better. That's...
Oh, finally! God, that actually makes me really happy.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of games not having any kind of functional, like, whip weapon. Like, I get that you're not going to, like, take down knights in full plate with them, but they're useful. You should be able to entangle. You should be able to take somebody's eye out.
Yeah.
You should be able to, like, yank at things. It's not gonna, like, swing you across the room, but you should definitely be able to disarm with it.
Yeah. I think 3d6 damage is a bit much, honestly, for a Bullwhip, because whips don't really actually hurt that. Like, I mean, it's
They can break
painful.
skin.
Yeah, but I mean, compared to getting hit in the face with an axe,
That's
like,
fair. Yes, that's absolutely fair. Unless you're like actually putting like metal pieces on the ends of your whips, which I mean, if you're gonna take it into a fight, you probably should do that.
yeah. There's also the Cofferin Lance, which does 3d8 damage plus a body save or stun for d4 actions. It does allow a body save to bypass that, but as we all know, body saves are near impossible to make, which makes that another one of the like short list weapons that you should definitely consider having.
Coughing.
And the blade fan does 3d12 energy damage, which is quite a lot, and then also gives you +2 to defense.
Okay, I know that was just a slip of the tongue, but I canonically want a blade flan now.
Projectiles. You got your bows. I don't know why the compound bow does plus strength damage and the other ones don't. When the compound bow is like the only kind that doesn't directly take your strength into account.
Yeah, compound bow is designed to be used by pretty much everyone. A longbow is ungodly.
Yeah,
Like, you are very strong if you're using a longbow proficiently.
yeah. But like the damage on the longbow is actually not very good. 2d10. Like in this
Well, I
game.
mean, in a universe with guns,
True, but like I mean we've only seen like warhammers. A warhammer does 3d8, a longbow does 2d10. Like it should be the other way around. The longbow should do more damage because they were extremely deadly. Back in the day when they were actually used.
it's yeah. This whole section could really benefit from some better balancing and an eye for how this is going to work when you think about this coupled with armor.
Yeah,
Like, if we just assume that every single person is not wearing armor, and then we go about balancing this better, then you can, do things like, hey, weaponry like longbows don't do anything at all
yeah.
to you while you're wearing this armor.
This this disc thrower and dart spitter are interesting. Um, the damage is acceptable. 3d12 is pretty okay. I mean, it's not fantastic as you'll see for a ranged weapon, but it's not bad. But I think
I
it's interesting that the dart spitter does d6 times 4. No other weapon, to my knowledge, does damage like that. Like,
that's
is
isn't
that
that functionally the same as
4d6?
4d6?
I'm not sure because I'm not sure if that x4 is meant to be a times 4 combo multiplier or if it's just supposed to be an untyped a multiplier. And that makes a huge difference because if it's a combo multiplier, then it doesn't it doesn't multiply with other combo multipliers. It just like adds 2. But if it's an untyped multiplier, then it could be multiplied by combo damage multipliers. And you could
Well,
get some really crazy damage going.
most of what you said there was actually gibberish to me, but that's fine. There was just a lot of the word combo being thrown around, and you didn't differentiate super well between the two for the layman. But
Okay.
it's okay. Hold on.
Okay.
From what I'm seeing is that it could mean 4d6, or it could mean roll d6 and then multiply that times 4.
Yes. And the key thing here is that when you're doing damage, as we saw the last time we were looking at combat stuff, there's a couple of different types of multipliers, like power multipliers and combo multipliers and critical multipliers.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I scrubbed all of that from my brain.
Okay, well, the important thing to know about them is if you've got two power multipliers on your damage, like say you got times 2 and times 2, that's not times 4, that's times 3, because you just add them together and then drop 1. But if you've got a times 2 power multiplier and a times 2 combo multiplier, that's times 4 because it's times 2 times 2. So if that's a combo multiplier, that times 4, then like it plays differently. If you've got an attack that does combo damage, it'll play differently if that's a combo multiplier versus that being just an untyped multiplier.
Yep, that all sounds like smart things.
Okay, moving on.
I'm sorry. ADHD today is strong.
Moving on.
No, it's also a very confusing system. I mean, I'm listening to this and I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is something I'm going to need a separate piece of paper to write down what is what and keep like a cheat sheet rules compendium right there with me if I ever played, because damn.
Yeah, it definitely obfuscates things and makes them needlessly complicated. If I was running this myself, I would dump that entire system and just make it that when you've got multipliers, they all just add together. You've
If I
got,
was running this, I just wouldn't.
Pretty
well,
much.
I mean, in fairness, 3 different types of crossbow, but all shown from the side, so you can't actually see the bow part of them, so they just look like really goofy rifles. And the energy crossbow, which doesn't even make any sense. Star Wars.
Look, it's neat. I mean, if you're gonna have energy, other stuff, you might as well have an energy crossbow. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And likely it's the fact that it's a crossbow is just visually, it looks kind of like a crossbow, and it just works in a completely different fashion.
Oh,
But
here's
that's a lot of like heavy hand waving and just sort of
here's another great
giving
one.
up.
Bolas. Damage D10, stun for D4 actions,
Why are you stunning?
and +2 to throw.
No, that should be an entanglement.
Yeah, I agree. That should be an entanglement since they have rules for that. Oh wait, no, they don't. They have
I know
it
they don't.
under.
They just referenced it like 4 times.
Yeah, they say that you can entangle, but they don't actually like spell out what entangling means mechanically. Ah, pistols. And this is the section of the
Figure it out,
game.
stupid.
What?
Just figure it out, stupid.
Yeah, basically. This is the part of the game that is very heavily influenced by Palladium games. The back of every Palladium games book will have a huge section of gun porn like this. And they're basically all real world guns that he just like copied, except for a few of them. And most of these have stupid names. The 45
I don't
Nexus, the Automag
The free-
5, which the Automag is a weapon that shows up in basically every single Palladium game book, and at least if it takes place in the modern or near future setting, it's in like every single version of the Palladium games, and it's usually one of the better weapons in terms of damage.
Oh my god, there's an accuracy percentage.
Oh no, that's availability.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
that
was like, oh no!
no, that would be terrible. No, not that I put it past this game, mind you, but no, that's just the availability, the chance that you'll find it at any given gun store.
Do you know that? Is that actually written down?
Scroll, 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 scroll.
Because nothing else has that. Just the guns. Okay, all right. Because I didn't want to believe that this game skipped out on an opportunity to add more mechanics.
Also, some of these melee weapons do have availability. Mostly the higher tech ones. So yeah,
Gosh,
it's availability.
my favorite weapon here is the Freedom 45-4.
Freedom 454. And it does 5d6, which is like really heavy damage, but look at it, it's drawn tiny.
Are you sure it's that one?
Yes. Or no, you're wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong. That's the 9mm Giza.
I was gonna say, the weapon named Freedom is tiny. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way.
I
I'm
like
gonna
that.
continue calling it a 45-4 though.
Yeah, 454 is a strange caliber. I'm not sure why you need the extra like 4 thousandths of an inch on your shell, but whatever. The 44 Thunder, a 38 revolver does D10 plus 3d6. So
Okay.
a 38 revolver does more damage than a 45. The 9mm Durham MP. The X here you'll be seeing a lot of. This means that it's capable of burst fire. So that's 2d6, but you can burst fire it. These other ones, you're limited in how like many shots you can get off at a time.
Only the 9mm Gorm so far has the ability to put on a laser sight.
Yep.
No other weapons have the ability to be modified with a laser sight.
Just a machine
Never
pistol.
before happened.
A machine pistol that holds 20 rounds of ammo in this. Like, goddamn.
Sure, whatever. Well, you can't see.
Or sorry, no, that's this one with the. It's got the little extended mag on it. I still very seriously doubt that, but.
No. I'm forever looking at the Max Iron.
The Max Iron Aramer.
Has the 9mm Durham, and the grip is just obscenely wide.
Yeah.
Instead of long.
There's the Burt Hook 30. I don't know why it says this. Damage 48 times 2. Like,
that's the multiplier. That's roll 48 and then multiply the result by 2.
And I don't know.
Which makes it even more confusing.
Also, I'm noticing that these say ammo. They have numbers and then letters after them. What the hell does that mean? I should have read this. Ammo.
A fifth time.
This shows the amount and type of ammo the weapons hold. Abbreviations are used: barrel, belt, clip, cannon, magazine, energy cartridge, magazine. I can guarantee you that every weapon that uses a quote-unquote clip, like this one right here, that's a magazine.
I honestly can't ever remember off the top of my head that like what the difference is between a clip and a magazine, but I default to magazine because I know whenever somebody uses clip, they're usually using it wrong.
Almost 100% of the time when people say that they have a clip, they're incorrect. Now, I'm no firearms expert, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on this. But my understanding is that a clip refers to like a stripper clip that you would use in like an old Springfield rifle where you've just got like 5 rounds on a little thing and you just slide them all into the rifle at the same time and they just slide off the clip. And a magazine is anything that's got a contained package with the rounds in it. So
We're gonna go by your definition because you are assigned male at birth and an American, which makes you a firearms weapons expert
I don't think
by
he's ever
global
fired a gun.
standards. So
Okay, I get this now here. The Berthook 30 does 48 times 2 because its ammunition is 2 in the barrel. So it's basically a double-barreled pistol.
which is really awesome, actually.
Yeah, until you want to use it.
Yes, until it blows your hand off.
Yeah.
But
I like how the
you
Freedom
have
450
alien species.
the Freedom 454 has an ammo of 8B, B being barrel. Like, are you serious? You've got 8 rounds in the barrel simultaneous? That's clearly a magazine. And also you can see the magazine on it on the picture.
No. I refuse. I refuse to think of it as anything else other than having a barrel for no reason.
The 480 Barracuda, that's an interesting design. It looks like you took a modern pistol, like an automatic, and then jammed a cylinder onto it on the front and took a bite out of the back of it for some reason.
Wow, that one drives me nuts. The barrel of it has the cylinder.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's so you can rotate between cylinders so they can't tell which weapon you fired from.
Yeah. It's got an 8-round cylinder. Like,
Insane.
not exactly standard.
It's great though. I kind of love it. I especially like the little shark bite out of the back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say though that I hate the way this page is laid out. Like, of all the eyesores, this one to me is one of the most egregious because graphic design is my passion.
Yeah.
And the way to lay out anything is so that it's immediately apparent what information belongs together.
Yep. Here's the other thing about this is that, like, it's kind of cool that we have all these pictures, but we don't actually need them. I don't need to know what the difference in appearance between a 44 Thunder and an Automag 5 is. Like, it's
I just
fine.
wanted to draw a lot of guns.
Yeah, this is just gun porn, is what it is.
Which
Here's
honestly is fine. I agree with you. It's unnecessary, but it's also okay.
yeah. Here's a gun that does 5d6 or stun for d6 actions.
Also, there is a benefit to having these pictures because a lot of people want to visualize their character. And if you just describe what the gun is, they don't have a visual cue for it. They want a guy with 2 big guns and a chainsaw leg. They want to see pictures of the guns to know.
I'm sorry,
that's
but
kinda
my
fair.
next character that I make in the game is now required to have a chainsaw leg. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Not mine. It's actually from a known game.
Yep.
Well, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna have a chainsaw leg. I'm gonna be an artificer with a chainsaw leg.
Here's a Praetorian that does 66. Cobretta Blaster does 2d20. Tech Blaster does 66. Tomahawk 200 EP does 4d10. With an underbarrel grenade launcher as a possible accessory. Here's the thing.
But you can't put a laser scope on it.
No, not a laser scope. That would be silly. Here's the thing, though. Like, 66, you got a max of 36. 2d20, you got a max of, like, 40. 48, you got a max of 32. 5d6, max of 30. If you are specialized in pistols, that's your cap. You can't get a above that level. Like 66 or 2d20 is the best you'll ever do with pistols. Now you can dual wield them, but even that will only get you so far.
Just start wearing them like rings.
After that point, you have to trade up to the next highest type of gun. So like you have to go to the submachine guns. And all of your points that you've invested in pistol are wasted. Submachine guns are pretty boring. All of them have the times X multiplier.
It kind of kills me that, like, instead of just giving us a table that tells us, hey, it's a pistol. It does this amount of damage. It does this kind of damage. These are your options.
Yeah.
And this is how much that those cost, roughly. Here are accessories that you can get for them. He did this.
Yep. Where some weapons can have a flashlight. None of these I noticed can have a scope.
Like, this game was very, very, very much geared after, hey, it's me and my buds. We want to make a game that's awesome in all the ways that we think are awesome.
Yep.
And they did that really well. It's just that all the things they think are awesome, some of them don't work super well.
Yeah.
Or were translated in a way that was never explained in the book.
And
I highly suspect a lot of this was hand waved, or there were additional mechanical like changes that were done, like higher level characters.
Yeah.
Not constantly falling on your own weaponry.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of these guns, and it's more noticeable in the SMG and rifle section and stuff, he's taking real world guns and then just like changing the number after it. So like Uzi becomes an Uzi 6.
Yeah, I noticed that. That
Like,
was pretty hard to not notice.
An MP5 becomes an MP6K, stuff like that.
He really likes the names. He really likes the number 6.
Yeah. And here we've got various shotguns, various rifles, an AK-60 assault rifle, a double barrel shotgun booyah stick.
Okay.
It's
now we're just
boomstick. Or you could get the Street Reaper, which is 48 damage belt-fed shotgun.
That's amazing. Honestly, like, for all of its faults, some of these are genuinely awesome. A belt-fed shotgun, that's amazing.
Unless it works like the belt-fed shotgun in Daikatana.
No, I just want to continuously do the reload over and over and over and over again and make things explode.
Yeah.
Like that, if it doesn't do that, I don't want anything to do with it, and for shame, Chaos Writers, if that is not the interpretation that is correct.
And it continues on down through here. You got more rifles, 3d20, 6d10, 3d20 plus d6. Here's light machine guns. We start getting into miniguns. And this is where stuff starts to get really ridiculous. So, we've got the Hellbringer 6 energy cannon, which I guess you're supposed to put that on your shoulder?
Sure.
The MS9 railgun, which looks like it's designed for, pleasuring your wife or mistress.
That's true, yes. Hold on a second, though. The Hellbringer 6 energy cannon. The accessories. A strap and coolant.
Yep.
Not only can you still not put a laser scope on it, the accessories include a strap, which implies that any of the machine guns cannot have a strap if they don't say they can have a strap.
Oh yeah, no, they can't.
You can't. You just can't tie a strap to them.
Yeah.
It's like the straps just slide off.
And
It's
I like
microphobic clothing, but with straps.
I really like the 2000 TE Annihilator because it looks like something that like a middle schooler would come up with, dreaming about the best weapon ever.
It looks like the weapon out of Dead Space, kind of.
It,
I mean, it's like not directly, but it gives me that feeling.
yeah. And then we got long.
You're not going to comment at all on the picture up there?
I mean, what can we say about it?
That's clearly two grumpy goblins.
I was gonna.
And one of them has a nightstick.
This guy right here is real short. I will say that.
I was gonna
It's
say
like, I mean-
Nosferatu got his kid brother in on it.
Yep,
What?
it's mini me.
It's mini and minier me.
Yep. And then we've got a bazooka, a missile launcher, a
Oh,
lightning
Warhead
spawn
Speeders.
launcher.
Lightning spawn.
Yep.
Does lightning spawn? Does it reproduce?
I don't know, but it does D4 times 100 damage.
It's great. I like that there's just a flat 1 in 10 chance that it'll appear in any weapon's place.
Yep. Well, hell, there's a 5% chance that you can get a thermonuclear warhead, just available
Just
for
fun.
sale.
You must possess a nuclear missile device. Aw, darn. I guess I can't collect them.
Yep.
Like Pokemon.
It does 2d20 times 200,000 damage.
A flat 10% for the tactical warhead.
Yep. And then here's all of the grenades and stuff. They're all fairly extremely deadly. Like here's a 40 millimeter, one of the weakest grenade types in the game. Does a D10 times 10.
I mean, they should be pretty deadly.
They should be, but like, a low level character is not going to survive this.
Nope.
And
They're just gonna die.
and the cost is mostly outrageous. The cheapest one I think is the Molotov cocktail, which is appropriate, which only costs 30, but it's got sticky fire, which is a special kind of fire that like is harder to put out and does like constant damage and is really nasty.
Like the liquid nitroglycerin.
Oh yeah, liquid nitroglycerin.
Not liquid nitrogen. Liquid nitroglycerin.
Yeah.
That's very different.
Yeah, it's basically, and I noticed that it does more damage, quite a bit more damage than dynamite. Guess what one of the main explosive compounds in dynamite is?
It couldn't be nitroglycerin.
It could be, and it is.
I want to see this liquid nitroglycerin from behind a extremely thick wall. But I want to see this.
Well, nitroglycerin is liquid in its natural state.
I actually did not know that. I would have assumed that it was like a powder.
No, nitroglycerin is a liquid at normal temperatures and pressure.
So if you so it's basically a water balloon full of nitroglycerin.
I mean, I wouldn't do that, but you could do that.
I'm saying that's what that is.
I mean, apparently.
It's essentially a water balloon full of nitroglycerin.
Essentially.
Interesting. Notes: unstable, 20% chance of explosion if jolted. Why would you carry those?
You wouldn't. Also, I noticed that the dynamite doesn't have a risk of exploding if it's exposed to fire or something, which is something that dynamite absolutely does.
Oh yeah, no, dynamite is real happy to blow all of your limbs off of you.
Yep.
Also,
At,
really
the
unstable
tiniest
if it gets
mark.
moist.
Here's a various accessories and blah blah. Booyah stick rounds. It's driving me nuts. It's boomstick. It the line from
They did
Army
that
of
on
Darkness is "This is my boomstick," not booyah stick. Nobody calls shotguns booyah sticks.
it was very much. I would suspect that was done on purpose. They thought boomstick was hilarious and were like, let's make our own spin on it. That's even better somehow.
Well, it's even worse. Let's see here. Blah 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 blah.
Plasma tipped rounds? How does that work?
Plasmic tipped rounds.
Plasmic tipped. Oh, okay. As long as it's plasmic tipped, that's plausible. If
And
it
it
was
just
plasma tipped, that would make sense.
yeah. Then you got special weapons here. Stormblaster does D6 times 5, can be burst fired, electrical damage. So, remember that the Revenant race had
Yeah.
vulnerability to electricity? Yeah. Any enemy that has this becomes extremely deadly.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that, like, as crazy as this all is, and like just absurd, like this is one of the sections of the book that makes me actually want to play the game. I know better because I played the game, but
is it because you're just enamored with the appearance of the matter displacement rifle, which definitely looks like a marital aid?
who wouldn't be enamored with the appearance of the matter displacement rifle? I mean, it's got something for everybody on there. But like, just honestly, like the amount of creativity and like sheer like passion for this book comes out in these sort of sections. Like,
Oh
you can
yeah,
see that they put so much effort into this.
it definitely
And
does, and
they loved every second of it.
I would argue that a lot of the effort spent on this section in particular was misplaced, but I mean, this is one of the highlights of the book.
And honestly, if like, because this whole book basically follows the rule of awesome. It's the rule of cool, but we're gonna chaosify it into the
Yeah.
rule of awesome. And then make sure you're picturing that title in Comic Sans.
Yeah.
That's it. It means that if this is where they would put the effort, like, is in these parts, and it's like it does definitely have that like teenage, like, greatest weapon ever, like you were saying before, like feel to it. This, like, the whole project does, and this is very on brand for them.
Yeah.
But like, I appreciate it. Like, it makes me to see the amount of passion that went into just this section. Like, all of these are wildly imbalanced. Half of them I would never be allowed to, or would even show up in the game.
Yep.
But of the things that do, I want to use them.
Next, we've got armor. A blind man could hear that. What? I don't get it.
I do. I get it, and I'm not gonna explain it. Don't. God, it's the same. It's the law of random holds up sport.
Gotcha. This is apparently the front line during the Hive War of Nimbus 3, which I think is the planet that they visited in Star Trek 5, the one that everybody forgets was made because it's awful.
That is a really cool picture.
It is a cool picture. I'm not going to knock the picture. I just think it's a silly name. And I really like Hot Topic Raiden there, floating in midair, firing his shotgun. Sorry, booyah stick.
I enjoy the knockoff the knockoff Mandalorians sort of just kind of snuck in there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh my
just
goodness, the guy closest to us in the bottom right, Lim.
oh yeah, shit. That's
He's
clean cut
having a bad
off too.
day.
Like that was like done with like a laser or something.
Dang! And like his face is all toasted and stuff.
Yeah.
He's not having a good day.
Posture, dude. Posture. Come on.
Look, you don't know. You don't know what race that is. That could be his normal posture.
So armor is pretty boring.
Or
You've
he's the
got
first backer of that other guy.
you've got normal damage over here, and then over here you've got ballistic damage. As you can see, wearing these ancient types of armor, like hide and shit, is completely pointless. It barely does anything for you. Um, Armored long coat or cloak is like the bare minimum of decent armor for a low level character, and uh, you're only getting 2/6 out of it.
I'm a little disappointed that I'm not seeing more pictures of armor.
Yeah, there's not a lot in here. That's a cool
Like,
picture
really,
though. Like,
it is. That is a very cool picture. But like, they really set us up to like have pictures of all this stuff, and then we're like, nope, the clothes are not important. You can just imagine those.
yeah, basically,
Guns. The guns is what's important.
yep. And then the best you can get is heavy combat armor. Uh, all of these have asterisks next to them.
The caption on that is insane.
The,
Oh, I thought it was like naming like one specific person. It's
Oh.
naming a whole race.
yeah, yeah.
Not that
Or
one,
I think it's a
race.
position. I think that's a rank, Praetorian.
No. I meant if you scroll up, this one. Yes.
Ah,
I thought it was like it's because it looks smaller to me. I thought it was saying that it was this one guy whose name starts with K, and he is one of the best armors in the galaxy. And it just took me a second to process. One of the best armors in the galaxy.
yeah.
Like that's pretty significant.
Um, Heavy combat armor though, this is the best you can ever get, and that does 20 ballistic resistance, which just means that you just get to subtract 20 from any ballistic damage. Now, we've seen that like just from pistols, you can easily get a pistol that does up to 40 damage ballistic. Um, or pistols that'll do 40 damage energy. And pistols are the shittiest type of gun. Like, rifles can definitely outclass them many times over because of burst fire capabilities. Armor is kind of shit in this game. It just doesn't scale up high enough. And I think this is the point where he realized that he has a bit of a problem with his armor system. Low level characters can't afford super great armor, but if they ever were able to loot it off of an enemy or something, it could make them completely immune to low level damage. Like if you're rolling 4d6 against a 20 ballistic soak, like you're basically nickeling and diming that person to death. You can barely punch through it. And most of the time, it's going to do no damage at all. But if he puts heavier armor in, it exacerbates the problem at low level. But if he doesn't, which he didn't, it exacerbates the problem at high level of armor just being completely fucking useless. So he compromised with armor is completely fucking useless at high level. Like, that's just you can't get armor that does decent protection at high level. You still there?
Yes, it just took me a minute to figure out what was going on with my sound.
Oh, yeah. Your sound seems weird and muffled all of a sudden.
Yeah, I had to unplug and replug in my headset. Sorry.
No, okay. So, then here he gives you an option where you can create your own weapons and stuff.
You
And
could have led with that.
yeah, you should have led with this, honestly.
You could have led with that and then given like some really creative options and like basic options and then been done.
Yep. And then armor ratings here, and this is the only way that you can get weapons that exceed the hard limit of like what's in the book. Like you can get up to a well shit, a D% times 10, which is insane for a pistol, but you can get it. Hell, you can get a melee weapon that does that.
I just want greaves that do that.
You could do that. And you can get
It's
armor
like-
ratings of 2d20.
Or like a belt. I just want my belt to be able to like do as much damage as a pistol.
It's a good job I have that for the equipment section. This is kind of a cool picture, although these are really tiny hover bikes. Or hover cars, or whatever.
They're supposed to be really far away.
I mean, okay.
But yes, they are really small. It's, yeah. What does that say under that? What's that caption?
A marketplace in the vast city of Haven, Earth.
Okay.
So, this is pretty boring. Honestly, he basically just went through the equipment section of a Palladium book and pulled out all of the general goods stuff that he could find and then threw in a handful of futuristic sounding stuff. Like bug scanner, like it's a palm-sized device that looks for tracking stuff. Like that actually seems really archaic now. Like the fact that you would need a device that big and that it couldn't be incorporated into something bigger or something with more utility like a cell phone. Like you can't just make it an app in the future.
No. The future has progressed beyond the existence of apps.
Yeah. It's pretty boring stuff, honestly. Holographic imager, which is way less useful and less interesting than it sounds. It's basically just a device that creates a holographic image. And
I'm gonna
it's
go ahead and
used
say that image displacement cloak looks cool.
image displacement cloak. Oh, I didn't even see that. The cloak adds plus 10 levels, holy shit, to the concealment skill when the hood is drawn. But there's a 20% chance it's damaged each time you're struck. And if the wearer ever catches fire, the cloak is destroyed. For 200,000 credits, that's not worth it. But that is an insane bonus to concealment. Just looking for anything that's, interesting. A matter teleportation unit. Transport into and out of atmospheres from one MTU to another. You must roll a percentile with each passing through an MTU. If you ever roll 100, your body is destroyed during the transfer process.
Oh,
So, like,
and it
it's
costs $1 million to possibly die.
it's a Star Trek teleporter or transporter, but there's a 1% chance every time you use it that you die horribly. Like, come on. Mostly stupid stuff and boring stuff and nothing really that is terribly exciting. I like this picture though.
It's pretty great.
It talks about adventurers being able to order items online, um, which, I mean, 2008, Amazon would have been a thing, so that's not really looking too far into the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, we still do that. And I'm sure that's always going to be a thing. So
Yeah.
it doesn't feel anachronistic, if that's what you mean.
Then there's this picture right here, which looks like it was made in a 3D modeling program. And I don't know what I'm looking at exactly. Is this supposed to be a campsite? This looks like
Frankly,
a tent, but like the flaps on the tent are on the angled side. I don't know. Various weapon permits, licenses, etc. And illegal documentation costs 3 times as much, even though the only reason you would need the illegal documentation is because you can't afford the outrageous prices of $1,000 for a weapon.
that's great.
And here's a big list of all of the gear broken down by percentile tables for reasons that I don't possibly understand. It says it's for quick gear or a random gear quick chart, but I mean, like, seriously, are you going to have an MTU on a random table? Like, is a random thug going to have one just on his back?
I
Anyway,
mean,
cybernetics.
if that's an option, I absolutely will just carry random thugs around on my back.
I'm almost positive that it's not intended to be an option. Okay, so cybernetics. I've been hinting at this off and on throughout this review. Cybernetics sucks. It's not good. It either replicates the effects of mundane equipment, which have no downside, or it's a shittier version of magic, which also has no downside. If you have cyberware, it lowers your spirit. The only reason that matters is for like mages and Mudai and
That's
monks.
a mechanic taken directly from...
Yes, that is directly, like, it works exactly the same as it works in Shadowrun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure he lifted this section verbatim from Shadowrun. By adding cyberware to your body, you will suffer ×2 power damage from electrical attacks. That is important. Let's look at races again. Dot 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 dot. So, electrical vulnerability ×3 power damage from electricity. So, here's the thing. This is meant to represent that they have cybernetics, but it doesn't actually replace the cybernetics penalty, which is double damage from electricity. So you end up taking quadruple damage from electricity. And if you drain your spirit below 4, you have a ×3 power damage, which would put you at the ×5 level if you were a Revenant. Remember, the Revenant's entire gimmick is that they have cyberware, and a lot of it. Like, that's ridiculous. If you reach zero spirit, you become a cybernetic organism. What? Aren't you a cybernetic organism when you put cybernetics into your body? Like, that's not.
I know where they're going with it. They're trying to say you become an android.
Yeah, well, you don't become an android either. Like, uh, like that's an android is a robot. Like, you're still a cyborg. What they mean is that you become some kind of like psychotic killer evil robot cyborg person thing. Your spirit leaves and your body leaves the body and travels to the spirit world, and it can be created into a revenant at that point. Um, but that's a new spirit entering the body.
That's not horrifying.
Cyberware can be damaged. That's cool. Um, let's see here. Electrical damage, and tech bombs can both do damage to cyberware. Um, they take extra damage. Yep, a 10% chance that some of the character's cyberware may be destroyed. And then roll a random piece of cyberware and trash it. The cyberware is now useless and must be repurchased and implanted. Tech bombs have a chance of stunning or shutting down a cybernetic enemy for D6 rounds. So,
That's cool. You get extra weaknesses, and sometimes your stuff will just die.
yep, exactly. Like, having cybernetics at all automatically gives you weaknesses that other characters don't have. That's before you get into any of the benefits that it gives you. You just take on additional weaknesses. Um, this is for reconstructive surgery if you want to like replace different body parts and stuff. This is an idea that's very Palladium. Uh, and this is like if you need to buy a new arm or something. So here's the kinds of stuff that you can get, like a grapnel arm. Uh, it acts as a grapnel gun. Well, great, but you could just use a grapnel gun, and it doesn't give you any weaknesses. You can upgrade attributes like body, but it gives you a max rating of +3. So, like, you can upgrade your body attribute by up to +3. Comport, an intellect chip, which upgrades intelligence. Um, like, you'll notice that none of these are very, like, super powerful. Electroshock suppressors, which are absolutely necessary. Um, damage that would have been ×3 becomes ×2, and ×2 damage becomes normal from electrical damage. Uh, basically required if you're going to be a cyborg to prevent the extra vulnerability that you're given, which is cool. Um, you can upgrade will, you can upgrade your charisma, um, upgrade strength. Like, basically any attribute can be upgraded, but only to a +3 maximum. Because, you got to be balanced. Uh, oh, self-destruct. That's cool. But, like,
I definitely use that like all the time.
notice, though, that, like, none of this is that good. Like, thermographic eyes that allow you to see heat patterns. That's great. I can get binoculars that do that. Like, and they don't give me extra vulnerability to electrical attacks. Like, what? Like, there's no, and there's not really anything I see for armor. Like, it doesn't look like you can get extra armor at all, which is funny because they referred to you as a walking tank earlier, but you can't actually like the only way you can is by using the body upgrade or the skull web, which just adds 1 toughness.
I kind of don't like that you can add stuff like the skull web and it's still going to give you weaknesses to things.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally just putting a metal plate in your skull.
Oh, and torso webbing also gives you +1 toughness. So you between the
Those
skull
would be
web,
useful.
between the skull web and the torso webbing, you can have a maximum toughness of 5, which is 5 points of damage soak. Which is great, except that it's worse than like a standard armored coat. And then there's cloning. Cloning is weird. Like blah 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 blah. During the cloning process, the spirit is lost. Clone is born in the primordial realm with its own spirit. Sure. If you choose to clone your character before it dies, make an exact copy of your character packet while spending a fee of at least 2 million credits. It is illegal to clone highly intelligent creatures and is reserved for military use only. Artemethian Cloning Act 1222314568895. Sure. Anyway, if you make an exact copy of your character and save it, you may start the game with this character after your death. The spiritual influence is restarted. Sure. Why not? You may also be cloned after you die if you find someone that will do it illegally. You lose 2 to all attributes, which is pretty harsh. But if you make a body save, which you won't, you'll only lose 1 to all attributes. Reset spiritual influence, and start playing your clone. Some game masters may only allow up to 6 resurrections or 6 clones, because those game masters played a better game called Paranoia.
Okay.
So yeah.
What? That has no basis on anything.
Yeah, there's no reason why you should
There's
be limited.
literally no reason to pick 6 as an arbitrary, thing.
Yeah, it's you get a 6-pack of clones in Paranoia. Although I'm not supposed to talk about that because knowing the rules to Paranoia is against the rules of Paranoia. So
I didn't know that.
yes, well, you're playing the game correctly.
Alright, well, I don't know. Should I remember that? Should I fail to remember it?
I mean,
I'm already confused.
yeah, you're playing Paranorma correctly. Paranoia. Paranoia is a cool game, and one of these days we're gonna have to play it, but that day is not today. So artificial intelligence. The rules are stupid. Cyborgs or cybernetic organisms are actually machines mixed with living tissue. Cyborgs can be blah 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 blah. They have a minimum of 20 in strength and dexterity, even though, that's not a thing for actual cyborgs. All skills have a rating of no lower than 7, which is insane. They do not possess emotions, which is not true necessarily of cyborgs. There's also androids and droids, because Star Wars. And here are the different types of robots. No pictures, just plain text explanation.
Okay.
And techers can shorten the time of creation by the result of their cybertech check, counting the result as the amount of days subtracted from the total building time. This is a work schedule of 6 hours per night. Subtract cybertech results for every skilled assistant that is aiding during creation as well. The parts to design these AI equals 25% of the cost to build or to buy the automaton. And you need an intelligence of at least 7.
I like the
Otherwise,
really harsh 3 to 6
yeah,
intelligence.
yeah, yeah, right. Start reading. Go back to school.
Like, hilarious.
It's not really though.
Hey, that one actually is a joke. I was torn between staying and not going.
Yep. It's not a
They
funny
did it.
joke, but it's joke.
Like, I mean, it actually is a joke. Like, that's something I would say.
This is the cybernetics section, and I'm going to speed past this section and gloss over it pretty much because reading this section, just my eyes will not focus on the page. They just bounce right off. There's so much dense stats and stuff, but it's all completely fucking pointless unless you are playing the one fucking class that uses cyberboards to enter cyberspace, which looks like the internet as envisioned in 1993. Ugh.
Okay.
Then you can buy special programs for your cyberboard. Here's all the stats about going into cyberspace and getting around and breaking into codes. You know, whatever. This is also pointless because, like I said, only one class ever actually uses cyberboards. Jacking out or blown away. Well, you could have phrased that better. Um. Oh yeah. Uh. Here's a critical fail check. That makes a lot of sense.
In which you could randomly get permanently smarter.
Yep. And blah blah. Damage, armor class. This is all the same rules of combat, just like in a different setting. Uh, let's jump down to vehicles. 2 birds, 1 stone. You hear what I'm thinking? Yeah. So, vehicles. Most of these don't have uh, any images, and that's a shame because we really need them for like the Dundra or the Quadrone.
Quadrone?
Quadrone. It's a car or truck.
Okay.
They have various hover bikes. The only difference is the name and the stats. They apparently look all identical. And here's a section on hover cars that are not quadrones. So I don't even know what the hell. You can put a lot of special upgrades on your vehicle. Oh, look, here's pictures of vehicles, but no labels, so we can't tell what they're even meant to represent, other than they're probably hover bikes. Spacecraft. Yep, those are spacecrafts. Mm-hmm. Is that a galactic transport vessel? It might be.
Is that a galactic transport vessel in your pants, or are you just happy to see me?
And then mech mods, which I don't know why they're called mech mods. They're mechs. And we get 3 of them with no pictures. We don't know what they have, and the weapons are practically the same. It's one mech mod missile rack, and this one has 1 energy cannon. This one has 2. This one has 2 heavy ones. Presumably, this is a mech mod, and I'm guessing it's the spider, because I'm assuming this is the missiles and this is the energy cannon, but who the hell even knows?
Yeah.
It really, in this section in particular, we really needed pictures, and not in the guns section. And then these are upgrades that you can buy for your spacecraft. Here you can create a random spacecraft with random stats. So you can do here's a NAR type spaceship, by the way. Random stats for a random ship. And that's it. That's the entire section on space vehicles.
Wow. I feel like the gun section was much longer.
You can tell that the gun section held the creator's attention much, much better than the rest of the equipment section. Like, he put in lovingly detailed illustrations of almost every weapon, and then he was just like, and also there's some vehicles.
Oh shit, that third sentence there in Game Masters? Damn. If you lack any good storytelling skills or strong imagination, you may want to stick to being a player.
That's
Ouch.
cool. Yep. Hey, those who have already been a game master in other games can skip this introduction to game masters.
Yeah, there's nothing that you need to know
Yep.
in how to play this game. You already know how to play this game if you've played literally any other game.
The system is pretty well tested to make it quick and easy to allow more storytelling to take place. That is a lie. This system was not actually tested. I can definitely prove that.
I mean, I feel like they absolutely tested it and just kind of they're using some sort of secret rule set that they didn't include in like the written anything. Like you were just supposed to like it feels like you really were just supposed to fly by the pants and ignore the rules sometimes and like come up with your own crap.
Well, he does say
it doesn't say
do
that.
whatever the F you want, I don't care.
Yeah, but that's for music.
I mean, yes, but I'm sure that he meant it for everything.
You know what? You're probably right.
Game Master's record sheet to keep track of players' stats, but it doesn't actually like keep track of all the stats. This is a cool picture, but it's really inappropriate for this game. This is like straight out of Dungeons and Dragons. Like this.
It is a cool picture. It is right out of Dungeons and Dragons.
I mean, you know, it's very well done. Don't get me wrong. Like I like it, but it's totally out of flavor for this game. I mean, I know that fantasy type stuff can happen in this game, but like really, are you really expecting people to go around with chainmail? Yeah.
I mean, that's what you should wear in space.
Yes. So there's some basic advice about game mastering in general. A quick non-player character generation method here. Let's see, blah blah blah. Defense modifiers can go really, really high for some characters. Cool points. It talks about how these work. And I'm going to go over this section just because cool points consistently trip me up. So let's read it, and we'll see if we can figure out one of the great mysteries of the game. Cool points are given to characters as a reward that is used to advance the character in several ways. Blah, 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 blah. Some game masters may wish to give the players their cool points after an entire session of play. That's fine, blah, 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 blah. Game masters should pass out points according to level as well. Higher level adventurers will gain more cool points due to the fact that they spend more and battle tougher enemies. In the beginning, characters may get around 10 cool points for a good fight, while a 30th level character might gain near to 40, considering they were fighting powerful enemies like demons. And then reward characters for roleplay as well. Take points away if they're a bad player, which is cool. You lose cool points for terrible role-playing or if you just suck. That's...
Wow.
Yeah. Alright, so this is the task. This is the chart for rewarding cool points. Based on the level of the character and whether it's easy, moderate, difficult, or extreme. There's quite a jump here from level 1 through 10 to 11 to 20, I notice. And it jumps more for the easier stuff than for the more difficult stuff. Like, for an easy task, you get 10 times as much, but for an extreme task, you get less than twice.
What?
Yeah, look at the numbers here. An easy task at levels 1 through 10 gets you 1 cool point, but at levels 11 to 20 it gets you 10. That's 10 times as much. But for a moderate, it's 5 to 15. That's 3 times as much. Difficult, it goes from 10 to 20. That's only twice as much. And extreme, it goes from 15 to 25. That's less than twice as much.
Wow.
And then it drops off sharply after that, with it just adding 10 each time to each category. So this is how you spend cool points. You can get hit points on a 1-for-1 basis. You can improve the skill rating as rating. So like if you have a skill that you're at like level 4 with, it costs you 4 points to raise it to level 5. Mana, Chi, Frenzy are all 1 for 2. So you get twice as much as you spend. Attribute, it costs as many points as you have in the attribute to raise the attribute 1 level. And it costs you 10 points to get a skill slot. Pretty straightforward. Sounds decent enough. Here's the level advancement chart. So you're considered level 1 until you've got or more than 15 cool points. Then you hit level 16. Then once you hit at least 16, you're at level 2. Mundane and Caster, we'll get to that in a second. This chart goes up to level 120. You also get free abilities on the asterisk levels. Free talents. But only if you're non-multiclassed. Because if you're multiclassed and decided to do that terrible option, which we've already talked about how terrible multiclassing is and how you should never do it, you get further punished. Also, if you're multiclassed, you start over at level 1 with low-level rewards, but you're still fighting the high-level enemies.
Oh my god. Chart after chart after chart.
Yep. And then you get level advancement rolls. This is what the mundane and caster does. Mundane,
Remember, you can skip this if you've played another game.
just the introduction to game mastering.
Okay.
Mundane is for all the non-caster characters. Caster is for the ones that can cast spells. Apparently, Mudai and not Mudai, but monks are apparently considered mundane. So you roll that many times on this chart and just gain random shit, which is honestly kind of cool. I don't have any real complaints about it, and this is kind of a cool picture here. I like that. And then we move into reputation points. Here is my question to you. How do cool points work?
I mean, you get them, and then you spend them.
Right. But your level's based on how many cool points. Is your level based on how many
Are you sure
points?
you're reading that chart right? Because I don't think your level is based on how many cool points you have. I think what they're trying to say is that's how many points you should get.
No, because this is telling you how many cool points you should get.
Are you saying that they wouldn't possibly have given two conflicting charts?
I am saying that I do not know, based on the fact that they potentially did add two conflicting charts, is this the number of total cool points over the history of your character, which you are never told you have to record, which, for the record, I think that is what he's going for, or is this how many cool points you currently have? Do you have to save up to level up? Or can you spend them between adventures? Or are you only allowed to spend them when you level up?
Yes.
See, here, that's the thing. He never explains how leveling up works. He forgot that part of the rules. It's not included in the book.
It's probably in the expansion.
There is no expansion.
Surely there's some explanation somewhere. It's the DLC.
Yeah, no.
You had to get the paid version.
This is the paid version. Believe me, I've paid in money and I've paid in pain. Yeah, for the record, I do think that you're meant to record your cool points over the lifetime of your character separately from how many you currently have. This is the problem with using XP to buy abilities. You can do that well, but this layout of a system doesn't really work too well for me.
Okay, now that you explained that it's supposed to be like you XP to like buy abilities and stuff, that makes more sense to me. I can see what he was trying to like. I get it. Okay, so like you're supposed to gain things and then you spend those things as you level, and you're supposed to track two separate things for your cool points. One is how many you've gotten, and the second is how many you've spent.
Yeah. And he never actually tells you that you need to keep track of them as two separate things. He only tells you that you need to keep track of how many you've got. And that's a big problem. And something that, I would expect an editor to catch. This book had multiple editors.
Or a playtester.
Yeah, or a playtester.
Or the DM.
Yeah. Or literally anyone. So yeah. I am trying to be I appreciate this game for what it is. And I do like it in its own way. But this system right here, this is incredibly shitty, dude. You need to rewrite this entire section. Take out this bullshit about losing cool points for terrible role playing, because that implies that everybody has to be a master thespian, or else they lose cool points for role playing wrong.
It also implies that like the DM is expected to just be a horrible douchebag.
Yes, there
Like
is.
like I don't like the way you're playing your space elf, so I'm just gonna take cool points from you because I can.
Yeah, it's incredibly shitty. And that antagonistic DM thing pops up again and again. It's a very old school tabletop games thing. But
I don't I wouldn't want to play honestly I wouldn't want to play a game with like an openly hostile DM. Like
yeah,
yes, I want to play games with DMs that are going to make things difficult and challenging. They're going to provide hard choices and consequences. A lot of the games that I want to play, I want high stakes because I don't get to do that in real life. I don't get to pit my like entire self against like eldritch horrors or choose between saving a village or saving my friend. You know, those are not the kinds of things that I encounter in like day-to-day life. So yes, put them in a game.
yeah,
But just being a bastard, no thanks. I encounter that every day. I don't need it.
yeah. Also, while you're rewriting this to take this stuff out, like, explain how leveling up works, dude. Like,
But just clarify it because
clarify.
we feel like we figured it out, but that's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's not at all clear. And then we get to reputation points, which, I mean, of course you have them, and you gain reputation, and that's got to be tracked separately. Um, Reputation gives you a bonus or penalty to morale for your troops, and also changes the likelihood that somebody else would have heard about you.
Okay.
Reputation also gives your character a talent and a character class ability for every title that you advance. I don't know why it says one talent and one character class ability, because character class abilities are doled out per level, and you only get one per level, and you always get that one at that level. So I don't know what he's talking about there. But, so it's basically two talents. It talks about rewards in terms of loot, selling equipment if you have to sell equipment. That's kind of a cool picture, but it's like posterized to hell and back. And once again, he has upsampled it when it really shouldn't have been. And same thing here. And here's talents. I guess talents are different from character class abilities, so my bad. You only get 6 talents per category, and it looks like there's only 4 categories: magical, sneaky, shooting, and melee. So, sure. I mean, eventually you're going to get all of them. And then, once you gain all the talents in the original category, you can roll on the Master Talents table. You do not have to get melee, shooting, sneaky, and magic, just any one of those categories. These talents will allow your character special advantages in certain situations, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes they will just suck and you will use them very little. Awesome. You intentionally created talents that are bad so that people...
And then told them that you were aware they were bad.
Yeah.
And then used them anyway.
Yup. That's fucking stupid. Also, you have to
Questionable
roll.
at best.
you have to roll to get these. Like, you can't pick. Is that also true of these ones? It does not say. I think for the base level ones, you're allowed to pick, but then you have to roll for these ones. So you could end up like getting the worst ones over and over again. There should be a tab here. All y'all back up off me. The creator of this game is so incredibly white. I cannot emphasize that enough.
That sounds like a very white person thing to say.
Yep. And then there's Grandmaster talents. Same old, same old. And then Supreme Grandmaster talents. And then here's an example of play, which I'm not going to... Okay, I was going to skip over this, but then I remembered this section right here. So they get their info that they're after. Cool, let's go. I'll tell Marcusio we'll contact him later and I leave. Thug. Blank that. I'm gonna go talk to some girls. Mage. Size. Hurry up, man. We need to go. True, let's go kill something. Y'all are lame, man. Y'all don't want to talk to some chicks? What's up? Y'all don't like girls? Merc. Out of character. Yeah, I like girls, mother. But I'm playing a role-playing game. Thug. Out of character.
Oh god, I hate this. Stop. Make it stop. I hate all of this. Please.
I know, S. Stain. My character is a playa, yo.
This is the worst thing I have ever read.
He included an out-of-character argument in the example of play.
I hate everything that is here. I hate it. All of it. All of it is terrible. It's the worst thing. And this is like on par with any of the Tarnsman of Gore books.
Oh, it's very bad.
And like, if you're a fan of gory and stuff, like, good for you. But the books are terrible.
Yep.
They really are. They were very badly written. They were very badly written.
Okay, so moving on, we have a section, The Shadows of Haven. This section is going to introduce us to kind of the like core setting of the game. Halt, citizen. Identification, please. Are you carrying any illegal weapons today? Like, yeah, officer. I'm carrying a bunch of fucking illegal guns. Like,
they're up my butt. Come find them.
I mean, in fairness, that is something you would say, Nick. Like, you straight up would be the person to say that. You're like, yeah, I'm carrying a bunch of fucking illegal guns, officer. They're up my ass. And, like, that's just you. That's not a character.
okay.
I just don't... God, I'm sorry. I'm still having a hard time with all of that dialogue example that meant nothing.
The officer would have to be cute, though.
My character is a player, yo.
They said so much, but actually said nothing. Oh, like, I want to go back just so I can point out more things that are wrong with it, but I know it's just going to make me hurt more inside.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's best that we move on. For hideouts, if you want to have a place of operations, it lists the different living spaces and rents, to rent or to own. That's cool. Um, don't know why you'd really care that much, but um, corporate offices of the Zentek Syndics. The Church of Saul can be seen outside the windows. That's the big Blade Runner pyramid building.
Yeah, it
Yes, it
is.
Okay. Let's see. Cities laid out into zones, areas, and sectors. Uh, Street names are still used. Hundreds of different gangs in Haven. So these are all various gangs. Neutral bike gang, famous for their bihawks. Like
Bihawks.
like bisexual hawks.
I identify as a bihawk, and nothing you can say will change that.
You know, I don't think that we're gonna find anything better than that. So
It's not a phase, Mom.
It's not a phase, Mom, as you don your leather jacket and eagle helmet and squawk wildly.
bisexual
Flap
hawk
away.
bisexual hawk pride month is being celebrated.
Oh my god, yes. Wait, do you think rainbow feather boas are hate speech at Bisexual Hawk Pride Month?
I
Or
mean-
are they celebration?
I mean, it's hard to say.
I mean, okay, in fairness, Bihawks are not a monolith. I think we would have to dig a little deeper into this complex issue to get an answer.
Yeah.
But that's for a different day.
Yep. Section on crime and punishment. If you're caught doing a crime, this is what you can expect to end up paying. And oh, hey, for treason, you can get torture and banishment and a 60% chance of execution. That's cool.
Oh,
Rape, they'll execute you for, possibly. Torture and banishment.
the possibly part is pretty messed up. I'm gonna say, like, it's like they made a nod to how terrible it was, but they could have just not included it as an option.
Yeah.
Like, they could have been like, you know what, that's actually so awful. We're gonna just not include that as an option here. As a crime that you can commit and be punished for.
Yeah. See, that's the catch. That's the kicker. There is these are in this game, in this book, in order to tell you, like, if you are caught doing these actions, this is what you can expect to face. So if you're caught doing rape, which implies A, rape is allowed in the game, and B, you might just get away with it.
Oh, stop there. Just stop
Yeah,
there.
I've made my point.
That's
Yes, it is.
So
I have a hard
bad.
time when, like, actual, like, released by large studios include that kind of stuff in their video games. It's like,
Yeah.
you don't need to. Yes, I realize it's a harsh world you've created with lots of racial... you don't have to include it.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been better if you straight up murdered the character. At least then it's, I guess, more tasteful.
And
It's
then
not-
there's stuff on transportation. Great. So we know how much it would cost to hire a shuttle. That's cool.
You know how much it costs to hire a shuttle and how much it costs you morally to commit horrifying crimes.
Yep. And hospitals, which are apparently known as med labs.
Med labs!
They will report gunshot wounds and energy weapon wounds when they take in a patient that has been wounded in such a way. Find a doctor that will work off record. But this is how much it costs to treat people.
Noted.
Oh, by the way, necromancy is illegal, as are necromantic or black spells. We included that as a character class option, but didn't mention that, oh yeah, all of your spells are illegal and just like practicing it can get you absolutely no fucking penalty because there is no penalty for using black magic. And
That's weird because they did make a point of like that in like earlier in the book in the necromancy section that like, hey, this has some kind of penalty.
yeah,
This is somehow bad.
there's no penalty. So all of this stuff right here is numbered locations on this map. I like this, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. This is the city of Haven. These numbers can be very hard to read. Like, and there's no layout to this, and that drives me nuts. 1, 2, 3,
Hey, look at that.
4,
Okay, just stop.
5.
Just stop. Now look at that shape.
Yeah.
Where all the like
It looks
busy.
like a bear.
To me, it looks like a fat unicorn with Trump's face.
That's fair.
What it looks like. So it's a fat pig.
It's like a bear.
It's a fat pig in MAGA hat.
I don't actually know what this is, by the way. This isn't identified as anything.
It's a city.
No, I mean this part of it, the unicorn horn.
It's a pier. It's a pier. Come on.
This is land. This is a road.
It's a land pier. It's one of the famous land piers of wherever this is. Haven, Earth. It's the famous Haven land pier.
Anyway, I'm not going to spend a lot of time discussing this. This is cool, and I like it. I like that the Haven Megadome has events such as Kill the Man with the Ball, Death Hockey, Predator. Yeah.
They didn't have blade hockey, though, and I need to know the difference between blade hockey and death hockey is.
Well, blade hockey involves blades, and death hockey involves death.
Yes, but like I feel like they're interchangeable. Like those things could be involved in each other. Like is death hockey like a distinct lack of blades? Like what's the defining feature that makes them different?
I don't know, and my best guess is that the author forgot what he named it partway through.
Probably, but if we pretend that's not the case, it's a lot more interesting.
Here is a cool list of drugs if you want your character to do a lot of drugs. I'm going to skip over this for content reasons.
Okay, we kept the laws and punishments, but skipped over that part. Okay.
Yep. And
oh God.
You know,
hate the future.
We're getting close to the end here, but I think we can do one more section. Game Master's Guide to Earth. After the apocalypse of Earth, the sky was void from the light of Sol. The heavens cast a shadow on the surface of the world to hide what the humans had become. The Eldrin came through the ashen veil from a holy place to see what life existed. We came to stop the evil we knew had landed on the Earth. Sure. So, without reading it, I want you to guess what Africa is like on Earth in 6010.
I absolutely refuse to do that.
Same.
Well, it's an entirely wild land with no major cities. Only clans and horrible creatures roam the wastes of Africa. The majority of this continent was swallowed during the apocalypse by great floods that devastated the realm. Oh, and there's no...
So as it turns out, we don't know much about Africa.
Yeah.
So rather than research it and give it a cool thing that happened, we have crushed it under the apocalypse.
Yep. I love the no major cities part, because nobody lived in fucking Africa ever.
There are no large populations in Africa at all. That just doesn't happen. They're just nope. The entire continent is cityless.
Okay. Looking at the other places here. North America. Blah, blah, blah about Haven. Blah, 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 blah. Haven is located in the northwest region of what is left of North America. I believe that it's Seattle. There is a city known as Colorado in the center, which is also a very large city, but does not compare to Haven's population. Colorado is home to a great deal of Eldrin people. The city Tradeport is on the east coast. Most of the territories with low elevation are below the ocean now. The wastelands are very dangerous, and those that trend there should be wary of the clans and creatures that roam the wilderness. So, basically, I squeezed in a whole lot of shit about Haven, and then 2 sentences about everything else. South America. Mountainous region of the east coast. Largest city here is New Brazil, but the city of Bogota is close behind it.
Bogota.
Bogota. I want to take a drink.
Maybe it's supposed to be Bogota?
I mean, I'm assuming that it's a play off of Bogota, which is a city in Colombia. But he spelled it as Bogota.
Huh.
I don't know if that was an intentional misspelling, or if he just didn't know how to spell it. Anyway, jungles, mountains, territorial tribes of Eldrin and human clans, of course. Europe. I'm going to bet that there's a bunch of places in Europe that are civilized. Hey, look. Scotsgrim, New Ireland, Germania, Stockholm, and Moscow are some of the smaller cities that now exist in the haunted realm of Europe. They have had many problems of late with undead armies. The military that is stationed there blames these on rogue necromancers and an illegal type of magic. They believe that many have hidden in these areas. There is rumored to be a necropolis under the realm of Norway. It is rumored that this was copied directly from fucking Rifts. Because it was. Like, I mean, not the place names necessarily, but, like, Rifts Europe is exactly like that, with, like, a large colony of fucking gargoyles and undead and shit under there.
I like the name Scotsgrim.
Yeah, Scotsgrim is okay. Arabia.
Otherwise, this is all super Western-centric and racist.
Yes, it is. In Asia, Arabia, Mutan, Mongolia, Tai, Wuhan are some of the cities that reside in Asia. There are many, many wastelands here, and they are as dangerous as the wastes of North America. New Tokyo resides beneath the ocean and is completely protected by by great domes and force fields. New Tokyo is the second largest city of Earth. Of course it is. Of course it is.
Don't forget, kids, Wuhan clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yes. Australia. What was once a great continent is now but a group of small islands. Some clans may be found here, as is the most prominent underwater maximum security prison. This prison-like city is called Border Town. Is that anything like Barter Town?
That is for sure what I would name my prison city, my underwater prison city, Border Town, because of all the underwater borders.
Yep. He fucking stole it from goddamn Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and just instead of Barter Town, he named it Border Town.
I mean, honestly, Border Town is generic enough that I wouldn't say that it was necessarily stolen.
I guarantee you it was stolen.
I wouldn't, I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying.
And Antarctica is almost gone. Atlantis, known as the Forbidden Continent, entirely controlled by the Imperial forces. The city of Atlantis is the third largest city on Earth, and it is home to the Empress. It is said that the continent of Atlantis held many mysteries when the continent was found. Now those secrets are thought to be held by the Armethian Empire. So, yeah. I want to jump down and, God, is there any way that I can, there any way I can rotate this? I don't think I can. So, unfortunately, you got to deal with it being horrendously rotated wrong. Here's Haven. Here's Colorado. Here's Tradeport, which is obviously New Orleans. New Brazil. Bogota. Africa with no cities. Stockholm. Sure, why not?
I'm glad Stockholm made it. You know,
Yeah.
if there was anything that this new Earth needed, it was definitely just to have Stockholm.
Yep. And Border Town, which is underwater but on land.
Right.
Uh,
I like that the entirety of Antarctica made it.
yeah. You know, the continent that he specifically said there wasn't much left of it. Like,
Yeah.
all of it is left.
I mean, and like, you know, the largest continent we have, Africa, is just gone, but Antarctica is around.
Yep. Oh. I think it's time to put her up for the night. I have,
Oh, thank God.
yeah. The casual racism is starting to get a little problematic.
It was starting to get a little problematic like 4 episodes ago.
Yeah. But the good news is that we're closing in on the section that has the sample adventure.
Oh no.
Oh, yes. So that means we might actually
No.
play this soon.
No. No. You can't make me.
I can, actually. And I will.
Ah.
But not right away. So, yeah. This was a real mixed bag tonight. The weapons section was kind of cool. Everything else was kind of bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that the really horrific implications of things, like the truly thoughtless, casual, like just racism and references to things that just didn't need to be, you know, put in the game overshadows so much of the other cool stuff.
It is a shame. There's genuinely good ideas in this game in terms of its setting and even in terms of some of its rules. I really like Frenzy. I don't like that Frenzy has to be purchased with XP in order to replenish it. I think that it should be a regenerating resource, but I really like the idea of having extra action points that you can just spend whenever.
Well, just do like this person and most people do when they do artistic endeavors and just rip off their ideas.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of why I'm presenting this and showing people this, is that I want people to see this so that they can, you know, copy the good stuff and leave the bad stuff behind. And
or even if the guy who made this sees it and be like, yeah, I can see Randy retooling it. Having a fresh set of eyes on a project always helps.
yeah, I
mean, I do encourage this guy to actually keep going because there's really good stuff in this system. It's just really bloated.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very, very bloated.
Yep. So, but I think we need to cut it off here. So, thank you for joining me tonight, Meph, to slog through this book.
You are not welcome. You are not welcome at all.
That's fair. Thank you all to anybody who tuned in tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't say that I enjoyed it, but I mean, I might have enjoyed it.
This is a really high rating.
There's elements to enjoy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only got 18 ratings, but...
Are you talking about
No.
on?
Look at the comments. I need to see... There's comments on this.
What are you talking about on drive-through?
There is a second edition. It is in the works.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God, that was 2 years ago.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, the game does not have a lot of reviews, and it doesn't have a lot of active discussion. Um, it's weird that this was from 2021.
And supposedly there's going to be a Kickstarter on the second version.
Yeah.
Yay!
Anyway. Anyway. So, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you continue to tune in. If not, I honestly understand. Until next time, guys, we'll see ya.
Have a good night.